Record lows were set yesterday morning, and there's more frigid weather on the way, and that can take a toll on your home. Tyler Lyer from Aero Service Team was joining me this morning, and we're going to discuss just some of the things to look out for when this cold snap continues. Good morning, Tyler. Thanks for being here.
Morning, Wayne.
There are a lot of things that can go wrong when it's this cold, whether it's your car or your home, and that's what we're here to discuss today. How do you prepare your home? What are some things that we should be doing just on an annual basis, maybe before it gets to where it's at now?
So a few tips. We deal with a lot of customers that are either out of town on vacation or some of these snowbirds that go down to Arizona, Phoenix, Florida for the winter. One big thing that's super important is setting your thermostat properly. Never set that below 55 degrees. I prefer 60. You get cold winds and it's blowing hard against the wall, and now you got an outside wall with some plumbing in it, maybe a kitchen cabinet. And things can freeze up quickly when we got the wind chills that we have going on, especially what we've had going on this week.
You know, Tyler, I grew up in an older farmhouse, and, you know, like the kitchen sink was on an outside wall. And when it got brutally cold like this, we would open the cabinet doors to make sure that there was air circulating. Is that a good idea? Should you set a fan there? How far should you take that?
That's a great idea, Wayne. That's one thing I was going to mention. Bathroom vanities, kitchen sinks, anywhere where you're going to have supply lines coming through plumbing, keep those open. That's going to allow that air to draft in through there. Other thing too is pay attention when you're leaving your house. Most new homes have plumbing, either sinks or faucets or something in their garage nowadays. We've got unit heaters in there. You open that overhead door, and now we got cold air drafting, and that's going to break and push back in the house, and it could create a major problem.
Not only that, the garage is right next door. It's right next door to the home, and like if I go out to move snow or when I'm coming and going at this time of year, it's open and closed, because the warmer you can keep your garage, the better off it is for the house adjacent to it.
Yep, it's going to act as an insulator into the house and keep the house warm.
Okay, now mobile homes are a whole different animal, and there are some precautions that need to be taken there as well.
They are. I mean, obviously they're not insulated as well. You got thinner walls. You're dealing with something mobile that's up off the ground. The water pipe's coming out of the ground, and then you usually have heat tape there. So if you're living in one, you've experienced this, you probably know you need to check it, make sure that it's operational, that it's running, so your thing doesn't completely freeze up and you're sitting idle in the water. You see one of these really cold stretches coming, you probably know you can turn that faucet on and let it trickle, which is a great trick to keep things moving. If you know you traditionally have had frozen pipes in those areas, that'll at least allow it to not freeze up.
Is it maybe in one bathroom that you should have the trickle going, or should you do it in several faucets?
Just as long as you have the furthest point away from where it's coming in, trickling, it's going to usually pass through and it'll kind of keep things moving. So,
One of the things that you sent in an email to me, and I'm curious because I don't know where we're going with this. You said old Aero building sing by faucet. What is that? Is that what we're talking about here?
So we're talking about freezing pipes, right? And we used to have a building behind our old building, and it was all concrete, and there was a water line going underneath the ground to get to that building, and we had a sign in there that basically the faucet had to be trickling or that would freeze up, and the frost would push down and freeze that pipe solid. Then we ended up having to take the water meter off and jetting it back, and then it would break loose and shoot up, and you'd have to try and cap it and get it back together. So it was just a funny little thing. We had a sign up in there so the pipes
It was Old Faithful right there at the
That's right.
office, right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay. Now, and this is so important for a variety of reasons, but you say as a homeowner, make darn sure you know where your main water shutoff valve is.
100%. Know what it does, what it means.
Look at that.
Here you see a photo. This is actually a sink that had froze and busted up in the Newtown area. There was a 12-unit building that had flooded. And the water's physically just running out of the building and the home you can see here too. So pretty dramatic, but these things do happen, right? And knowing where that water shutoff is, so when you have your supply line break, you can get down to that basement, know where it's coming out of the floor, and get to that quarter turn valve and turn it off. Because a lot of times it's going to break before the valve.
You're right.
So you got to know where to get at it.
So that'll shut off, the main valve will shut off water to every place in your home. So no matter where the break is, that's going to take care of it. And at least you can go from there to try and start recouping what you've lost.
Correct. You're going to stop the water flow, and at that point, you contact somebody like Aero to come out and start mitigating the loss, drying it down, photographing, and we'll get in touch with a plumber for you so we can get that capped or reconnected so we can get you back up and running.
So in a situation like that, if something goes wrong, you contact Aero. You guys kind of act as the agent to get all the wheels moving at the same time so that you
Yep.
can start reclaiming your issue.
One call will take care of
Yep.
everything. Yep,
All
with
right.
insurance and all the documentation that you need.
Tyler, thank you. And we're in for a very, very cold week, so you may be getting more calls on that. That's how you get a hold of Aero Service Team. We thank you for your time and
Yeah.
stay safe. You guys are out there working in this stuff too, so